Now, let's see the definition of a triple product of vectors and its properties. So there are two types of triple products of vectors. One is the scalar triple product and one is the vector triple product. In the scalar triple product, basically that's equal to this or this, right? Basically, you take the cross product of two of the triple product of the three vectors, right? And then you multiply, and then you take the dot product of the result with the third vector. And obviously you can take it in any sequence you want. You can first take the cross product of u and v, and then take the dot product of the resultant with w, or you can take the cross product of v and w and then multiply the result and then take the dot product of the resultant with u, right? And so the vector triple product, instead of the dot product, it's all cross product. So basically you take the cross product of v and w, and then you take the cross product of the resultant with u. But let's just focus on the scalar triple product for now. We'll let u, v, and w be three vectors, and so the scalar triple product of the vectors u, v, and w can be written in these three forms, right? And that's what we discussed earlier. The sequence can be in any way, but the most important thing is that you take the cross product of two vectors and then you take the dot product of the resultant with the third vector, right? So the scalar triple product can also be written down like this. Why do we write it down like this? Because it makes the calculation much simpler for us, because you can find the scalar triple product of u, v, and w by just simply solving the matrix u, v, and w, just like you did in the cross product, right? So the properties of triple scalar product: if u, v, and w are coplanar, that means they lie in the same plane, then the scalar triple product of u, v, and w will be equal to 0. And that basically means that the parallelepiped that is formed by these three vectors, the volume of the parallelepiped is equal to 0. So what this basically tells you is that the scalar triple product basically gives you the volume of the parallelepiped that is formed by the three vectors. And we'll later on discuss what the parallelepiped is, but this is just for your knowledge right now. So if any two vectors of a scalar triple product are equal, then its value is equal to 0. And that is proven basically by if you solve the matrix in which the two vectors out of the three are equal. So basically, let's say u and u, and you have v and v as the two vectors, then the result when you solve the matrix will be equal to 0, right? So the two properties are that if u, v, and w are coplanar, then the scalar triple product is equal to 0. And if any of the two vectors of the three vectors in the scalar triple product are equal, then again the scalar triple product is equal to 0. Now let's solve an example. But let's say we have k, I, and j, and we need to find the scalar triple product of k, I, and j. So k, I, and j is given to you as this vector here. Now remember how you solved the scalar, how you solve cross products of two vectors. We'll apply the same rule here. So basically, you'll first write down this 0 over here, right? And then you'll cancel out the column of the 0, the row of the 0, and then you'll multiply this 0 and this 0, right? And subtract from that the product of this 0 and 1, which is basically just equal to 0 again, right? Now, in case of the second 0, we'll do the same thing. So as you remember, the second one is equal to negative 0. So you cancel out its column, you cancel out its row, multiply 1 and 0, that gives you 0, and from that subtract this 0 and this 0, that gives you 0 as well. So now the third one, you take this 1 over here, right? So you write down plus 1, cancel out its column, you cancel out its row, you multiply this one and this one, so that gives you 1, and then from that you subtract 0 into 0, that gives you 0. So this basically equals, this equals to 0, this equals to 0, and this equals to 1. So the resultant of the scalar triple product of ki and j, when this is basically equal to ki and j, obviously, that gives you 1, right? And yeah, so this is equal to 1. And just another reminder why ki and j is equal to this is because this first row represents the first vector, which is basically given to you as k, just k, which is why there is only 1 in the place of the k axis, z axis, right? And the other two are 0. The second one is I, which is why we have this one over here, and the third one is j, which is why we have this one over here. Now we have I, and k. By just using your own brain and the property that we discussed earlier, I and I, the two vectors I and I, are equal, which means that this will always give you 0. But let's prove it. I and k. This is the vector I, because it has just this one over here, which represents that you only have 1 in the x-axis, or I. The second one is again the same as it is again I, so you have 1 over here, and the third one is k, which means that you'll have this one over here, right? And basically now, when you solve this using the matrix method, you take this 1 over here. So basically that means you write down this 1, cancel out its column, cancel out its row, multiply 0 and 1, that gives you 0. From that subtract 0 into 0, so 0. The second one is negative again. So what do you do? Well, cancel out its, you write down the 0, this 0 over here, and then you cancel out its row as well, and then you multiply 1 and 1, so that gives you 1, and that subtract 0 into 0, that gives you 0. And the third one is this 0 over here. So you write down the 0, you cancel out its column, you cancel out its row, 1 into 0, that gives you 0, minus 0 into 0, that gives you 0. And once you solve all of this, you find out that 1 into 0 is equal to 0, and this again 0 is multiplied with all of this, so this is also equal to 0, and this entire thing is also equal to 0. So that gives you 0. Hence you've proven.